her cells are still alive right now. They've traveled to space, helped create vaccines, changed medicine forever, and scientists are still using them today. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. She never gave permission. In 1951, a woman walked into a hospital for treatment. Doctors took a sample of her cells without telling her. What happened next would change medical history forever. Her name was Henrietta Lacks, and even after her death, part of her never stopped living. In 1951, Henrietta Lacks went to Johns Hopkins Hospital seeking treatment. She was a young black mother living in segregated America. Doctors discovered she had an aggressive form of cervical cancer. During treatment, without informing her, medical staff took samples of her tumor cells. At the time, this wasn't considered unusual. Patients often had tissue collected for research without direct consent. Most samples quickly died in laboratory conditions. Human cells simply weren't stable enough to survive long outside the body. But Henrietta's cells were different, very different, because instead of dying, they kept multiplying again and again and again. Scientists had never seen anything like it before. Researchers named the cells HeLa, taken from the first letters of Henrietta Lacks' name, and soon they became one of the most important scientific tools in history. Unlike normal cells, HeLa cells reproduced endlessly under the right conditions. Scientists called them immortal. For the first time, researchers could study living human cells continuously in laboratories. The impact was enormous. HeLa cells helped develop the polio vaccine. They were used in cancer research, genetic studies, virology, radiation testing, even experiments conducted in space. Millions, then billions of Henrietta's cells were grown and distributed around the world. The medical industry transformed around them. And yet, her family knew nothing about any of it. For decades, Henrietta's identity remained mostly hidden. Meanwhile, her cells generated enormous scientific and commercial value. Laboratories bought and sold HeLa cells worldwide. Pharmaceutical companies profited. Medical breakthroughs accelerated. But Henrietta's own family struggled financially. Some reportedly lacked access to proper healthcare themselves, and many didn't even understand what had happened to her cells. When researchers later contacted family members, the conversations created confusion and fear, because nobody had ever clearly explained the situation. To them, it sounded almost impossible. Part of their mother was still alive in laboratories around the world, and no one had asked permission. As Henrietta Lacks' story became public, it forced the world to confront difficult ethical questions. Who owns human tissue after it leaves your body? Can hospitals use your cells without permission? Should families benefit financially from discoveries made using their biological material? At the time Henrietta's cells were taken, medical consent laws were far weaker than today. But her story exposed how scientific progress sometimes came at the expense of vulnerable people, especially poor patients and minorities. The debate spread across medicine, law, and bioethics. Because HeLa cells represented both extraordinary scientific advancement and the deeply uncomfortable truth that history-changing discoveries don't always happen fairly. Today, Henrietta Lacks is recognized around the world. Her cells helped save millions of lives, and modern medicine would look very different without them. Her story also changed conversations about patient rights and informed consent, because behind every scientific sample is a human being, a life, a family, a story. And perhaps that's why the story of Henrietta Lacks still resonates so deeply. Not because her cells became immortal, but because it revealed how easily human dignity can disappear when progress moves faster than ethics. In the end, Henrietta Lacks changed medicine forever, but not by choice. Her cells continue living in laboratories across the world long after her death, a scientific miracle and a reminder that sometimes history's greatest breakthroughs begin with stories nobody was supposed to hear.